Hey Guru Nation, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thanks for sending in your questions. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. All right, and if you've been watching for a long time, thank you very much. If you've been watching for a short time, thank you very much. Follow me on all the social networks. The way this works is typically I'll respond to viewer questions. You can email me, all my links, social networks, whatever you're most comfortable with. I'll always get back to you. Sometimes I do miss them, so you should follow up, right? Like the intro to the video says, follow up, follow up, follow up. Sometimes I do miss emails, but I'll get back to everyone. And if I think it's an interesting topic, I'll do a video, right? And I'll keep you anonymous unless you specifically request to be mentioned. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to get right into it. Today's question comes from someone who's starting a CRO, okay, which, oh weird, so am I, right? We've launched it this year, 2016, so hello to those of you guys in the future. I am using YouTube to continue to create content, but also to document for myself so I can look back like 5 years from now and say, man, back in 2016 is when I started building up the CRO, and it's just nice to see how things progress. Not only that, I feel like there's a good amount of social peer pressure here by documenting how I'm actually building the CRO, and it also helps out with transparency when it comes to a biotech company or maybe a med device company that don't have very much experience themselves in conducting clinical trials. Maybe they just raised some funding and are planning on doing clinical trials. So I want to demystify this business model as I'm simultaneously building up my CRO, just like I've done for the sites, and I'm still going to have content for the sites. I mean, that's still the bread and butter. We still run the sites, we still do consulting, we still have the CRA Academy. Don't worry, I'm just adding more, right? So I think a greater amount of transparency is needed as far as from the perspective of biotech companies, right? Of startups. They're startups themselves. Some of these biotechs and medical device companies just finished raising funds, right? And they're looking at how to run their clinical trials. And usually what they do is they'll hire a CRO, but they sometimes can't afford to pay what some of these CROs charge, right? And this is where we come in. We have a low overhead. We try to iron out all the operational inefficiencies and all that stuff. So it's a work in progress for sure. But I guarantee you, I'm going on the record, before 2016 is over, my CRO will have a contract. We actually have several in the works already, nothing official, but guarantee you by the end of this year we will. I'm using this as social peer pressure, so follow up with me in 2017 and ask me how it's going, right? So let's get into this. So I got all the paperwork, registration, built the website, hired the talents. What's next? Right? How can my CRO get contracts? This is what this viewer is asking. Other than emailing people on clinicaltrials.gov, because let's face it, the response rate is really low. Are there specialized companies that help with this? Is it wise for us at this stage to seek a partnership with another CRO? Another thing we thought about was hosting a symposium/workshop and inviting heads of the R&D and medical administration from different pharma companies, other CROs, director of clinical trial units in different hospitals to get the word out. The purpose is to get our startup CRO to be well recognized and get it introduced. What should I do? My answer is yes to all right? You're in the experimental phase. Your mind now, you're probably a doctor or a scientist or someone, you need to focus to business, right? Sales. People are allergic, especially in this industry, like it's like a taboo to be a salesperson. Guess what? You're a salesperson first. If you run a company, I don't care what industry it's in, you're a salesperson first. So you gotta have that mindset shift, right? And I say yes because everything you asked is everything you should be doing and more, because you don't know what works yet, right? So the goal now is to do everything you can and have an open mind and do more things, do more, 10x, right? I talked about this, like one of my favorite books, I've read, I actually listened to the audiobook, is the 10x rule by Grant Cardone. And he said you're gonna require 10 times more effort than you think it's gonna take to get your business up and running and to get just one client for your CRO. I'm in the same boat. You do everything. That's the answer. Let's see what you asked here. Other than emailing on clinicaltrials.gov because the response rate is really low, doesn't matter. There is a response rate, right? So it's a numbers game, and you've got to have someone, preferably yourself, pitch constantly. You can write out the script. You can have a slide deck. I have a slide deck. I have a PowerPoint slide deck, and I haven't outsourced this yet. I am pitching my CRO because I want to customize it to every biotech, and I'm targeting biotechs, and I think you should do the same. You're not going to target Pfizer or Janssen or Eli Lilly right away because they're not going to work with a startup, but you will want to target small biotechs, right? People just getting started that may not have the funds to hire Quintiles or a Parexel or one of the larger CROs. So you've got to know your client before they know you. So if I'm pitching a biotech, let's say there's one here in Irvine because I'm at one of my sites in Irvine. Preferably I would go in person and then follow up with emails and phone calls, right? But if it's not within driving distance of you, you've got to really study that company. I mean, look at what they're doing. Don't just blindly pitch. Look at what therapeutic areas they're creating products or devices for, and reverse engineer it. Talk about how you have a team of people or staff, what differentiates you, what sets you apart from everyone else, what would be the advantage for them to use you. I know what I'm going to say. I have a network of sites. We can train PIs. We find research-naive physicians with a large patient population, so we sort of solve the recruitment issue as well. We train them on how to run their own site. We equip them with the staff. We have our own QA system in place. Overhead's low. This is my pitch. You got to find your pitch. I don't know what your pitch is because I don't know your company. But you're going to have to figure that out, and you're going to have to customize your pitch to each individual biotech, right? And yes, the response rate is low because people abuse email. People spam, right? People do exactly what I'm suggesting you don't do, which is just copy and paste one pitch. No, you gotta customize it, reverse engineer it, make it look appealing to them. In the subject line, put something that they're gonna know right away. This is not a robot. This is someone who took the time out to learn about our company. Your response rate is gonna be a lot higher than if you were just to copy and paste something. People can sniff that out. Email marketing, I mean, the spammers have ruined email marketing. It's probably been 10 years old. Next is going to be Facebook. Marketers ruin that. Snapchat's next, right? You want to get a customized pitch, right? Next question. Is there specialized companies? And please keep trying with clinicaltrials.gov because those things get refreshed every day. I would actually look at news sources that focus on pharma or biotech. I think Fierce Biotech is a good one. They'll talk about when a biotech company raises a new round of funding, and you got to email them that day. Reverse engineer. I mean, the good thing about some of these biotechs is it's not that hard to get a hold of the main guy. Yesterday, I called a biotech company. I called several. I try to do about 10 a day. Again, it takes a lot of work, reverse engineering, customizing it to them. I got in touch with the CEO, right? You're not going to have that at Pfizer or at one of these big companies, but with the biotechs you are. If you can get on the phone with the CEO or someone else like the chief medical officer or chief of research, I mean, you've got to pitch them. I mean, that's your one chance, right? So keep doing clinicaltrials.gov, go read news articles. Fierce Biotech's good. I get nothing from Fierce Biotech. I'm a fan. Are there specialized companies that help with this? Yes. My consulting firm, DSCS, Sweat Equity and Investments, we help sites. We've actually helped some CROs in the past get more business for themselves. And right now I'm doing all the pitching for my CRO, but I have a staff of people in place that do nothing but do biz dev for other CROs, other research clinics to get studies. It's the same thing, you just gotta modify the pitch a little bit based on who the client is, right? For a research site, for a research clinic to get them more studies, it's more of a numbers game where we send out probably 50 emails a day, or no, probably not per day, but per week. And for someone like a CRO, you want to customize each message a little more because there's just a smaller volume, so you're going to do probably 10. We do this for you. We've had a good amount, I wouldn't say great, but we've had a fair amount of success with the one CRO that hired us a couple months ago. They are actually in Europe, so we have not done this for any CROs in the US, and we don't charge that much. Okay, so it's worth, and there's no contract, there's month to month. So there are companies that do that. Mine is one of them. Message me if you're interested. Is it wise for us at this stage to seek a partnership with another CRO? Yes. Okay. Again, show them what your value is. For me, my value is, when it comes to partnering with another CRO, we have a CRA Academy. We train CRA students to become CRAs. The CROs, the established CROs, need manpower, especially for their site selection visits, which are quite often the easiest task they can give, aka you can give this to an entry-level monitor. Site selection visits, they just need coverage, they need manpower. I have this coverage, I approach them. We are actually working with one CRO on perhaps doing this, but I'm actually trying to pitch my CRO as a full-service CRO. So if I get one gig, I won't want to do this because I'm going to need all those human resources to work on my project, right? But if you have no other choice or no other option, yes, it's wise to do this, okay? Why wouldn't it be? You're going to get your foot in the door, and then when you do go pitch another pharmaceutical sponsor on your own, you can now tell them, yes, we have experience. We've partnered with this CRO, and this is what we've done, and this is what we can do. So, of course, you got to do that. Another thing we thought about was hosting a symposium workshop and invite heads of R&D, blah, blah. Of course, do this and do more. Do webinars, do videos, do articles, target who you're trying to reach with Facebook ads, right? If you're trying to reach a biotech company, you can now target on Facebook ads everyone who works at a company, right? That's on Facebook. That post where they work on Facebook. So if I'm trying to reach someone at Allergan, which is not a small company by any means, if I'm trying to target someone at Allergan, I can target, especially if I know where that decision maker is located, I can target in that geographic region everyone who works at Allergan. And yeah, I might get a bunch of people that would not be interested in it, but I'll reach a handful of those people who may take an interest in my piece of content or whatever I created on Facebook, right? This is something I have not yet done, but I did create a video which I think could work on Facebook. So I'm planning on doing that actually. Today's July 27th, so either before this month is over or definitely in August. I've been so busy pitching, email, calling, that I haven't had time to set up a proper Facebook campaign. And this is not going to cost a lot of money, okay? And you can network with people on Twitter, you can network with people on LinkedIn, you can create value for them, don't just spam them. Find out how you can help them, find out what their pain points are, and then find a way to alleviate those pain points, whether that's by writing a nice article or, I have tons of strategies. So if you need help, let me know. But the answer is yes, you should do everything if you're trying to get business for your CRO and you just started. You don't have the luxury of deciding what you're going to do and just sticking to that. You need to try everything. Once you start getting some data and start realizing what works and what doesn't, you eliminate, you add more in things that are working. This is business, right? Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is able to help you out. And this applies to research sites as well. This is how you pitch a CRO. Let me know if you have more questions. If you really need me to help you guys out with the consulting, let me know. We do BizDev, 949-415-6256. Thank you, Guru Nation. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.